don't lose your marbles. What? Okay, we'll get into that now. Welcome to the Weekly Win, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the time that you have available and how you need to protect the marbles that you have and use them effectively. What the hell is Adrian talking about? Well, maybe I should take you back to some of these. Do you remember these movies? Yeah, City of Angels, Rush Hour, Meet Joe Black. If you had kids, you probably would have watched, or maybe you were a kid, you would have watched A Bug's Life. You know what's synonymous with all of these? Well, they were released 25 years ago. Can you believe it? 25 years ago, these movies came out, and a big box office hits. Some of them funny, some of them more serious. But I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this have seen most of those movies. What about the Billboard? You know, the top 20, top 40 songs. Well, this time in 1998, well, number one song was Will Smith. I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about him if he's been cancelled, but I did see some songs on there which I resonated with. Remember that the Bittersweet Symphony? I think it comes in here at number 11 or so. Bittersweet Symphony was something that I listened to over and over again. I think I had a CD back then. Yeah, I think I had a CD. There certainly was no iPhone and iPad or iPod to listen to, so it probably was a CD. I am old enough to say it could have been a Walkman, just saying. But that was 25 years ago. I mean, that's pretty crazy. In fact, what is 25 years? Well, 25 years is 1,301 weeks. So a collection of 1,301 7-day periods. I mean, that's a lot of time, actually. 1,301. What did I do with that time? 1998. I can't even remember how old I was. I think it was 21. And I guess when I was 21, I had some idea of where I wanted to be and what I wanted for myself. But what if I looked forward 25 years? What if you looked forward 25 years? What would the year be? Well, it's on the screen. 2048. 1st of January 2048. What do things look like? What have I achieved? What have I done? Where have I been? What does my life look like? What does my family look like? I wonder. Well, hopefully you listened to one of my sessions recently on setting goals and being intentional about them and setting short, medium and long-term goals, because hopefully you'll have a really good idea of what it'll look like in 2048 for you. And hopefully by then you would have moved significantly towards the bigger picture and the dream and the vision and so forth. And for some of you might be 21 where I was in 1998. Some of you may be, older than me, maybe in your 60s, and thinking, oh, this is not for me. At 25 years on, I'm going to be 85 years old. How does this apply to me? Well, guess what? Because these two oaks here, they only succeeded very late in life. In fact, they were both close to 60 only when they franchised Kentucky Fried Chicken and when they franchised McDonald's and opened McDonald's, which is now, fast food, the two biggest fast food chains worldwide. So age is not the thing, because 25 years is available to most people on the spectrum that are watching this video right now. The question is not how much time you have, the question is how much time you don't have, and how much you're doing with the time you're given. We're all given the same amount of time in a day, 24 hours. And what we choose to do with that time is completely up to us. So, what if I had a bunch of marbles here? In fact, I did a similar talk at our Sun City convention in mid-February. 1,301 marbles I had on stage, and it's a lot of marbles. Any of you play marbles when you were younger? Kids today don't play marbles, but when we were young, we played marbles all the time. You played against your friend, and if you knocked his over, you could take his marbles, and if he knocked yours, he got yours, and so it went, and you traded the shiny ones and the metal ones, etc. But 1,301 marbles is a lot of marbles, right? And what if each of these marbles represented a week of your life over the next 25 years? One marble for every week. It sounds like a lot of time. I mean, 1,300 weeks, come on. There's a lot you can do, surely. There's a lot of time left to achieve everything you want to achieve, to get to your goals, to fulfill your dreams. Well, not as much as you think. And I'll tell you why. It's because you're going to spend 390 of those weeks just sleeping. Yep. Take a third of those marbles and pour them out onto the floor, and they'll run away. And then put your bucket back, and you'll have under 1,000 weeks left to execute all the things you need. Now, I'm not saying sleep is bad. You need sleep. Sleep recharges you, revitalizes you, re-energizes you, so that you can effectively execute on a day-to-day basis. So you need the sleep. But I just want to point out that 390 weeks are going to be spent like that. 97 weeks are going to be spent eating over the next 25 years. Now that's a lot of eating. For people like me, it might be 98 or even 99 weeks. But 97 weeks for the average person is what they're going to spend just sitting at a table and filling our mouth. Now again, it's an activity we need to do. You can't cut that out. Obviously we want to make sure what we're putting in our mouth is good and healthy and all that sort of stuff, sure. But 97 weeks, throw the marbles away, okay? Unless you multitask like my kids, like this, and they're eating with their cell phone, and that's not such a good thing either. We'll talk about social media in just a moment as well. So throw those 97 weeks away. You're going to spend 17 weeks on the toilet. I'll just leave that there. 17 weeks on the bog. Unavoidable, but I just thought a little fun fact for you. You're going to spend 81 of those weeks over the next 25 years. Remember that, a week. I'm talking about not like 8 to 5. I'm talking about around the clock, 24 hours, okay? A day, every day, for 81 weeks, you're going to be standing in a queue somewhere, or you're going to be in a queue or in a line, of which, and get this, you're going to spend 16 weeks just standing at a red traffic light. How does that make you feel? Funny, you can do stuff in your car though, because there's a radio, a CD player, MP3 player, etc. So maybe we can fill that time. But 81 weeks spent standing or sitting in a line or in a queue. You're going to spend 8 weeks of the next 25 in meaningless meetings. Meetings that didn't require you to be there in the first place. You're going to spend 36 weeks at the cinema. If you work out, we go 2, maybe 3 times a year on average, and the amount of time that's spent getting the popcorn and the cool drink and sitting in the movies. You work that all out, and very clever people have worked this out for me. But 36 weeks is then going to be spent sitting in a cinema, which is good. It's good for the mental health as well. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of things that you're going to be doing, which means less time, I guess, to spend on trying to execute on my goals, trying to get my dream, trying to engage with my clients, trying to make sure that I watch my kids' sports games or their recitals, or learning a new hobby, or there's quite a lot I need to do with the less time available to me. And these two are killers. You're going to spend 109 weeks. Now, I would say you, hopefully not you, right? But the average person is going to spend 109 weeks on social media. 109 weeks on Facebook looking at what your neighbor had for supper, on Instagram checking out people that you don't know who are living their best life falsely, or on TikTok watching crappy videos about people you don't know and people that are not going to help you. 109 weeks times 7, it's 2 years of your life for 24 hours a day, more than 2 years of your life for 24 hours a day, just doing this. 146 weeks watching TV. When I say TV, Netflix, YouTube, put that together as a package, you're going to spend 146 weeks doing that. Now that's a lot of marbles that have been taken out of that bucket. A lot, considering we only had 1,300 to work with. Yet we still have goals, dreams, desires that we want to fulfill. But maybe we're making some of the wrong choices. Maybe we could be replacing at least half of that social media time with better activities. Maybe we could be replacing half of that binge watching of Netflix, or some other series, or some other documentary, or I don't know, whatever, with exercising, reading, walking, etc. Things that stimulate us. Maybe we could spend more time with our family, with our kids. Some of you will argue, but I watch the show with my kids. Fair enough, we're teaching them a great lesson. 146 weeks of their next 25 years is also going to be spent watching TV. Now, I'm not saying TV's bad. I watch TV, I watch Netflix, I watch YouTube, etc. But it's about being aware of how much time the average person is spending in each of these areas and how that could be replaced with better activities, better things that are going to move us towards those 5 circles that I spoke about in a previous session. The spiritual, the financial, the family, the business. Things that are going to move us towards activities that we could be doing instead of, some mindless computer games on our phone or social media on our phone. Because check this out. Some of the activities that are really good for us, like a little bit of exercise, maybe it's just walking or reading, putting good stuff into our head, some fiction, some non-fiction, some business, some self-development. We spend less than 13 weeks, or will do, in the next 25 years exercising. And if you go, but that's impossible, how can it only be 13 weeks? Work it out. Do the math. Divide 25 into months and weeks and days and hours and minutes, and work out how long that is. And what do you mean, less than 17 weeks reading? It's impossible. Well, for some it's a lot less than that. For some it's more, for sure. But the average person in the next 25 years is going to spend less than 17 weeks reading, less than 13 weeks exercising, but collectively over 250 weeks watching TV and playing on their phone with social media. It's quite shocking. And it's easy for us to fall into that trap. And we wake up the next morning and go, I wish I had done that stuff. I just didn't have the time. I was so busy. I didn't have the time. Well, it turns out most of us do have the time. And on some days we may truly be really busy with stuff that's going on. But how often, and let's not talk about you because you guys are perfect, I'm talking about myself. How often do I use that as an excuse? I'm just so busy, that's why I couldn't get to gym. There was load shedding at gym, so I couldn't go. Well, I stay next to a forest, I could have gone for a walk. I could have just walked up the stairs. I could have just walked around the house. I could have done something, but I found an excuse. And I'll just watch the sport that's on TV this afternoon instead, because that makes me feel better. Like, it doesn't get me any closer to my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, but I feel good. But I don't have time. We each were given a similar amount of time, but we spend it on the wrong things. We just do. I guess it's human nature. The way to get around that, well, watch the previous session, is to have goals, to be intentional about it, and to put actions in place to move you towards them, because it helps you to make better decisions with the time that you have available. Like maybe spending more time with your family, maybe spending more time with your friends, maybe and fill it in with what you want, right? Fill it in with what you want. But hopefully you know what you want. Hopefully you know exactly what it is that you want. Because if you know what you want, and you have a desire to get that thing or things or achievement, well then you'll take the time that you have and fill it with better activities. Don't lose your marbles.